my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody just calm down!
Yes, right then, gang. So looking at oil again. Just posted my NAT video, which seems to have gone down very well so far. So thank you ever so much for the support. Whilst doing that, I realised that there's a large opportunity for many or all to short oil. We all bear witness to the negative oil prices because of the May oil contracts expiring, and on the 19th of May we have the June oil contracts due to expire. Now, having looked over the analysis and the trends and the news and everything else in between, there's a lot of evidence that stacks up for these June contracts plummeting, or the price of oil plummeting around these June contracts. So I'll go into that in great detail in this video. I have only chucked this together only quickly because I'm aware it's the 17th today, and I'm talking about a strategy which is coming out in 2 days time, so I'd like it to get out to as many people as possible. What I'll do as well towards the end of the video is go through my take profit strategy and my stop loss strategy as well, because like any short trade, it's highly volatile. There is a lot of risk at play here, so people need to be aware to that and wise to that if they do intend on taking on this trade. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited, to be honest with you. There's not many people out there on YouTube at the moment talking about this, so if you would like to support the channel by subscribing and liking, that would be fantastic. Or of course, if you want to comment and tell me I'm an idiot as well, feel free to do that, because sometimes you need to be brought down to earth. And so to kick things off, looking at the price action here. So as I said, this is following on from my NAT video, which has gone down really well so far. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. At the moment, there is there's no storage for oil, so where there's no storage, that's how negative prices happen, because people had to pay ridiculous fees to be able to put their oil in tankers or on land storage. So when that happened, it was actually cheaper for them to sell the oil at a negative as opposed to taking it on, because when you buy a contract, you have to take 1,000 barrels of oil. Each contract is 1,000 barrels, so that's how that happened. That's how that occurred, if you didn't already know. So then going into these June contracts, it's the same thing. There is still no storage. There is still way too much oil, and everybody's predicting that oil is going to be doomed for a very long time. Morgan Stanley saying until the end of 2021, which is perfectly feasible. And that was out on the 29th of April. Now we've got everybody jumping on the bandwagon from the 15th of May. We've even got the CFTC, who manage and commission commodities and everything, telling people to prepare themselves for negative prices again, and to stay away from market manipulation and to try and keep it as buoyant as possible. So they're fully expecting this to plummet. CBNC saying that the current pullback is just a breather there for oil, and is expecting it to drop again. And then a perfect quote there is: the supply surplus has not gone away because the storage levels losing a few thousand barrels this week. The market is not balanced yet, and we will take some time for this to happen, which is bang on, because all of a sudden this surplus, and going through my NAT video, we discussed that there's probably about 600 million barrels of surplus just towards the end of this year, once the economy gets going again, that they have to use up. For them to use all that, they need to introduce that back into the economy. They can't just stop people from consuming that supply. They need to then consume that supply. You know, there's a real balancing act to it. So there's a long way off for them to do it. And I mean, you've even got former BP CEO John Brown there saying he expects WTI to go negative again. So there's a lot of people, and very important people, might I add, suggesting that oil is going to go negative, and for traders to prepare themselves for it to go negative. I think one of the key reasons for that, again, is just the fact that the surplus each day, you know, I think we consume about 97 million barrels per day, and at the moment, the whole time the economy's down, we're not consuming, or there's a surplus of 2 to 4 million barrels per day. So, you know, as that last quote said, opening up the economy only briefly is not going to eradicate all this surplus. So, yeah, so going forward then, why is the price so high? You know, why have we seen such a rebound at the moment? Well, I mean, if there's no storage and everything else, it doesn't make any sense. But the only theory I can come to is the fact that it's just people seeking an opportunity. You look at the price of oil when it did drop, it was historic lows, and so I think it's evident to suggest that it was only people really seeking opportunity, coming off those historic lows and riding it up. And you can see that buying power down there. I've circled that has diminished towards this date of the June contracts expiring, almost to say that people aren't buying it actually anymore. They're only just chasing it up and chasing it up, and I think when it does turn, they are going to then sell all those profits, which is only going to add to this massive sell-off, which I think we can expect to see, and this W pattern, or this double top pattern, which is due to emerge, I believe. Now, if I am correct, that W or that double top pattern would strongly support my notion of this massive sell-off too, and I think that is quite evident to be able to see that W in that shape there, and hopefully I am right, because if we are, then we could really coin on that, bringing that down from the price of 30 odd pound a barrel to 30 odd dollar a barrel to about $9 a barrel, which would be monumental. So yeah, I think long term, we can expect that price to sort of bounce between that slight upward trend it has and that bottom. And if not, then I see it then confining between a parallel trend line, so within that slight trend line going upward, and a mirror bottom for where that last bottom was, so putting in higher lows each time, as they say. But it's a very difficult market to predict at the moment, because we have these expiring contracts and we see so much volatility around it. It's not a normal market where you might see the price behave in a certain way. You might see it come out of that W pattern and then look as if it's coming back up, and people start jumping on the bull run. But actually, because it's got that expiry contract coming out again in June, for instance, the 22nd of June, then there's going to be a lot of volatility around that. If storage is still not up, if storage is still not depleted, and the normal price of oil back up, then we can assume that contract would fall again, that price would fall again. And particularly around the July contracts, there's 400 odd thousand contracts on it, which is a huge volume. That's it's 3 times the volume of what we're dealing with at the moment for this June contract, and it's twice the volume of what the May contract was. So that could really end up in a sore place if that supply and demand isn't sorted out and the storage depleted. So that would be one to really watch. And I mean, if I had to predict, I would predict that would be coming down again, because I don't see the balance of supply and demand sorting out anytime soon. So if that does fall down again, then perhaps into July, when the August contracts expire, that's when you might see the breakout to normal pricing again. But if not, then probably towards the end of August, I would expect prices to return to normal. So then, the more fun bit, looking at our strategy now. Well, I think there's a decent trend line there we can follow. I wouldn't jump in just yet. I do think there is a slightly more growth, believe it or not, for this price. I think we can expect that price to chase up towards 30s, anywhere between 31 and 33. I'm going to be comfortable with taking a short position. And then at this point, I think I got a little bit carried away with my lines, but the principle still stands. I think that what I'm trying to demonstrate there is the amount of people that have bought at that point and now going to be selling at that point, and we can see the price dropping well below. I think the most critical level there is if it drops past that $23 mark, then that would go down to that bottom again. I'd be quite confident in saying that. How it would recover coming out of it, I mean, there's a variety of ways it can go, as you've seen and as I've showed earlier. It could then rebound straight back up. It could get stuck between this $13 and $6 and shoot back up and come back down. I mean, I just don't know, to be honest with you. It could go anywhere. So but right now, what I want to highlight, and as I promised, is the take profit strategy. I'm going to take 25% at $23. I'm going to take my 50% at $13. I'm going to take the last 25% at $6.50. Just because, to be honest with you, don't be so greedy with it. I mean, feel free, you can take that 50% at $6 if you feel that comfortable with it. But for the sake of a few extra hundred or £1,000, I suppose, then there's just no need to risk that much, in my own opinion, that is. So, but going back to this stock, it's really risky. I must stress that, this whole strategy could be wrong. America have got a massive interest in trying to keep this oil price as high as they possibly can. There's a lot of politics around it and everything else. So and as you see earlier from the CTFC, they said about them coming out and doing what you can to make sure that the market doesn't falter negative again. So there is just quite a lot going on, and you have to be wise to it and make sure you don't over-egg yourself and put too much risk on, because as I am trying to stress, it is a very risky strategy. Anyway, I hope that was short and sweet enough for you, and I didn't waffle on too much, and I hope you've taken something from that. Do let me know if it is a strategy you're going to jump on as of this video. And if you would like to support the channel by subscribing and liking, I'm going to do as many videos of this as I can. And yeah, look forward to doing another one again with you soon. Anyway, safe trading, take care.